Welcome to the lecture on how to work with white spaces in PHP. So if you're in the materials folder, open the example on white spaces. Open these two files. So we're going to do these two examples, and then part of that we'll create these two files. The first example is how to add white spaces in Echo and verify in the browsers. I'm going to show you what is white space and how it affects the white space in the browser. Then we'll add some multi-line white space into HTML tag and verify in the browser. So we'll understand what is the purpose of white space and how it actually impacts, and how you can add so much of white spaces in the program and how it actually behaves in a PHP and also in the HTML. So let's quickly create those programs. So I'll open the Sublime. I'll create this file, Control-N, Control-S. Okay. So let's write this sample one. So what is white space, right? That's the first question. If you're hearing white space for the first time, white space is actually space, right? This is called as white space. I'm gonna extend this. White space is typically space. See the dots? You see the dots there? Right? That's basically called as white spaces. So what happens if you have a lot of white spaces in your program that is printing? How does it affect the output, right? Do you gonna get the white spaces in the HTML? Are you gonna see the white spaces as you type in the PHP program? Is it the output? Is it gonna be this space, E space, A space and test? Or is it gonna be a string saying that this is a test? What's your guess? Can you make a quick guess? Okay, let's gonna do this. So let's open this program. Let's save this. Okay, and there is no space, and if you have guessed there will be a space, there will not be a space. Let's guess the output. What will be the output? Does the output have a space? Yes, output have a space. Why it is that a browser cannot display white spaces? Because HTML ignores white spaces. Even though PHP prints those white spaces, HTML actually ignores them, right? That's how white spaces works in browser and also in the PHP. You can add whatever white spaces you want in your echo or in your print statement. It doesn't really matter how many white spaces that you have. It's just gonna print without white spaces because HTML is gonna ignore them. Okay, that's one rule, always remember. So let's say you're writing this test and you forgot, oh, this is a two spaces. Is my output's gonna have two spaces? So you need to know this concept, that even though you have white spaces, HTML will ignore it. Okay, so let's look at another example. Let's create one more file, and as I told you, I'm gonna remove all those question marks in the last, just to get used to this kind of notation, right? So let's write another code. So I'm going to copy this. Now I'm going to close this, and I'm going to say sample2. This time, and you see even these are white spaces, right? Everything is a white space in your program, and also the white space that is going on to the browser. Okay, that's a two kind of white spaces. So let's look at the tags. Okay, so the quick way to write HTML free flow. Okay, let's say you add double quote here, you close double quote here. So actually this is everything printed on the browser. So now you can just free flow write your HTML code here. You are free to type inside this. Okay, it doesn't really matter how many spaces that you have, how many indentation you are doing, how many new lines you are creating, because HTML is going to ignore them, right? And PHP doesn't really care what you're printing. If you see the double quotes here, that's basically used to print this output, right? But if you write like this and you're gonna see to this page, right, it's just gonna be a one-liner. The reason behind, as I told you again, is basically the HTML is getting those spaces as per PHP, but HTML actually ignores white space. That's why you're not able to see all those white spaces. So when we go to escape character lecture, I'm going to show you how to get these white spaces. So for that, hold that concept as of now, and we're going to look into another lecture wherein we're going to deep down into how to work with the white spaces, new lines, tabs, and all those things. Okay, you have to learn that concept as a whole. So I'm going to cover that topic in another lecture. Okay, for now, understand how white space behaves. So if you are going to write an HTML and a lot of white spaces, don't really worry about it. Okay, you're free to type whatever you want to type. Even though you have a new lines here, it doesn't really matter for HTML. Even though it's printed in the output, for it, new line is different. A break is different. HTML needs an HTML code to break it, not the white spaces. So white spaces are literally ignored by the PHP and also by the HTML. So have some fun with it, and you can create your own examples and try out how white spaces behaves. Okay, so that's all for this lecture, and I'll see you in the next one.